were able to join tonight to see this greatest scripture that has ever come out of the bowels of civilization. This Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita Dhyanam first verse itself, Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavatam Narayanena Swayam. That is, Bhagavad Gita is given by Narayana himself. Swayam Narayanena. By the Lord himself. Bhagavad Gita is given to whom? Or for who? Parthaya Pratibodhitam. For the enlightenment of Arjuna. And do not think that Arjuna means the historical figure on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Arjuna means all of us. Don't forget this thing. Sarvalokanugrahartham. For the benefit of the whole world, Shankaracharya says, Bhagavan gave this Bhagavad Gita. So, Arjuna means all of us. Parthaya pratibodhitam bhagavata narayane naswayam. That the Lord gave to all of us this Bhagavad Gita. And not through any author or some other person, and that directly by the Lord him. Narayanena swayam. Swayam means by he himself. The Lord himself speaks. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina. That ancient sage Vyasa Gratitam. Vyasa scribed it. Whatever Bhagavan spoke, Vyas, Ved Vyasi, he wrote it down. Because somebody had to write when Bhagavan was speaking. Na? Bhagavan cannot be driving a chariot and writing at the same time. He was speaking. Just like people when they drive their car, they yap, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Like that. So, Bhagavan was speaking the most esoteric philosophical doctrine in the whole universe. In Bhagavad Gita, Ved Vyasi had Divya Chakshu. He was not on the battlefield. Divya Chakshu means with his divine eyes, inner eye, he could see exactly what was going on the battlefield. See means hear also what was going on. And he had given this Divya Chakshu also to Sanjaya, who was in the palace. And Sanjaya was seeing and hearing, and he was relating to the blind king Dhritarashtra what is going on in the battlefield. Yasena Grhitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam. And Ved Vyasi composed the Mahabharata, and in the middle of the Mahabharata is documented. It's a historical thing. So Ved Vyasi wrote the history of Mahabharata, and in the middle of the Mahabharata, Madhye Mahabharatam, he put this Bhagavad Gita in the middle there. It is then Bhishma Parva from chapters 25 to 43, somewhere there. You look in the Mahabharata, you will find this Bhagavad Gita. Madhye Mahabharatam. Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim. And what is this Bhagavad Gita? Oh, how nicely. The Dhyanam itself is telling. See, we don't have to go far. We don't have to make up things and figure out things. It is written. What exactly is Bhagavad Gita? It is Advaitamrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim. It is comprised of 18 chapters that deal with the Amrit of Vedanta. The nectar of Vedanta. So Bhagavad Gita is dealing with Vedanta. What is Vedanta? Vedanta is the Upanishads, the ending of the Vedas. Veda Anta iti Vedanta. Whatever is at the end of the Vedas, that is called as Vedanta. And what is at the end of the Vedas? The Upanishads. All these little philosophical texts that you find at the end of all of the, as appendages to all the Vedas, as though they are all right down at the end. The philosophical, see, I tell you, the philosophical portion of the Vedas at the end, because naturally it is like that. You see your own life, forget Vedas. See your own life, right? When the person is a child, when we are children, the child is ignorant, totally ignorant, right? Child doesn't know anything. So when you ask, one fellow came home and he told you, I'm not going back to school. The mother said, why? He said, because my teacher cannot make up her mind. What do you mean your teacher cannot make up your mind? But first day the teacher said, 5 plus 4 is 9. Then the next day the teacher said, 6 plus 3 is 9. Then the next day she said 7 plus 2 is 9. Look, until she makes up her mind, I'm not going back. Now the boy doesn't know that all of them are correct. That's called ignorance from the childhood. We don't know. The mother said, don't go near the stove. He doesn't know. So he has to go and touch the tawa. Lighting stove, hot tawa. He has to go and put his hand there. He doesn't know, but he gets knowledge very fast. Yeah. We are born ignorant, all of us. So, from that ignorant state, we keep learning. And at one point, when we reach our youth and all, right? All the passions kick in, and we get vigorous and full of strength. And that time, we don't want to listen to anybody, and especially the grown-ups, adults and all. The young people don't want to listen to the adults and all, because they get too feisty. And anybody, adult tell anything, I don't know why them old people don't stay quiet. So that time he gets very feisty and a lot of rajas and all that kind of, doesn't want to listen. And that same person, when he gets children, they teach him a good lesson. All the feistiness gone. All the children make him get sober. And he himself calms down. And all the worldly things that he used to run after, and all the crazy things he used to do, going here, going there, liming here, liming there, going by the beach, all kind of thing. Those things that he used to do, he himself leaves it, and he says, no, those things are not for me. And what happens? He starts becoming philosophical. He starts telling things like, I realize that satsang is the best thing, All the time he in kusang, all his life he's in kusang. But when he gets older, and all the debilities of old age start kicking in at the age of 40. Then he starts reflecting, and he starts becoming more introverted, and more philosophical, and more pensive in his disposition. And he starts looking for the subtler and more sublime things in the world. That's how we progress or not? And all his attachments to all of the things that he used to have, slowly, they go. So in the very same way, the Vedas proceed. And at the end, the Vedas become very philosophical. So what a great thing if from the beginning of our life itself, we can become philosophical. Why do we have to wait to go through this whole thing and get a good beating from samsara, and when all our mind and senses become dull and blunted by the blows from samsara, when we cannot remember anything anymore. See, by the time we're 40, 50, 60, now all the memory gone. So you tell the person, "Arey Chand bhai, say e, u." He said, oh. I can't remember anything you just said. Chant this mantra. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. See, in the older days when he was, long ago, when he was younger and his memory was there and all senses were there. And he said, okay, chant this thing. What thing is that? Me, I want to chant. I don't want to chant that. What is this thing? You're making me chant something that I don't know. That time he feisty. Later on, when he's ready to learn it now, mind gone. Mind gone. One fellow was telling the doctor, doctor asked, how is your hearing? My hearing is good. How is your sight? Good. Knock on wood. He said, my sight is good. Knock on wood. They have something called knock on wood. He said, my sight is good. Knock on wood. And when he knocked the table like that, he forgot he knocked the table, and he said, he went to answer the door. So sight good, hearing good, but mind? Chala gaya, dimag. So when we are ready to become, when we become philosophical, I'm ready to learn now, that time the faculties do not cooperate. Huh? We learn one thing. Oh, Bapre. One time, an older person, not older person, 50s maybe, nearing 60, came and told, Swamiji, please teach me Purusha Suktam. Purusha Suktam is one very famous portion of Vedas. Please teach me the Purusha Suktam. So I said, okay. That cannot, even now I'm teaching at 5:30 in the morning. That type of thing I like. You come 5:30, that is the best time for me to teach you. So she used to come at 5:30. So I said, okay, now repeat after me. Om Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha. She repeated nicely. And we are going down. There one line. She said wrong. I said, no. It is like this. And I said it again. Again she said it wrong. Then third time, she repeated again and she said it wrong. She said it wrong 11 times. The 12th time, I myself said it wrong. Because I keep hearing the wrong thing. Are Baba, shor nahi, sor. Huh? Some song also is there, na? Like that. Because he said it 1, 2, 3 times, she's saying it wrong every time, isn't it? Like that. So, that time when we are ready to learn, that time the faculties are all gone. That's why we used to have a Gurukul system, where you go at the age of 8, you go to the Guru and you live there. So that time your mind is bright and sharp, like a razor. Oh, you learn anything fast. So, the Lord is so compassionate that the Lord has given to us the Upanishads, which is at the end of the Vedas, and has made it available to all and sundry, so that a person even in the early age now could learn this thing. Why you want to wait till you reach that age when you can't learn anything? Therefore you see the young children, when they tell you, Grandma, come learn this thing, this computer. What? Computer? कंप्यूटर को क्या कहते हैं? In Hindi they say computer. What is computer? The grandchildren, there's a wonderful video floating around on the email. Have you seen that thing? The grandchildren bought an iPad for the grandfather. Grandpa doesn't know what that thing is. He cutting vegetables on the iPad in the kitchen. He put on, it is a cutting board, and he cutting vegetables, and he scrape out the iPad and all, rinse it under the tap and put it inside the dishwasher to wash. iPad. Then if you tell Grandpa, the computer have a virus. Virus? You know when a computer gets a virus, what do you call it? When a computer gets a virus, what do you call that? Terminal illness. But that kind of language he doesn't understand. Huh? Because at that time the mind is not ready to cooperate to also learn that thing. You tell him, then he said, no, look, that is for you young children, That is not for me. The mind cannot learn. Huh? I remember, so many places I go, and the people who have reached this stage, well, in the Yajna they sleep. One man was telling me, Swamiji, when you finish your lecture, there's a great awakening. Huh? That is a wonderful thing. At one place I was doing a yajna, and there were so many army generals. In that area, all the army generals, retired army generals, they were living in that area. So many of them used to come. And there were 2 of them who used to always walk in late. Lecture going on, 2 of them. And then the whole audience, when anybody walks in late, the whole audience does like this also. That time Gita and everything gone. Everybody watching this like this. So, one day I made, to army generals, I made a comment. These generals are generally late. After that, they started coming on time. But after coming on time also, the mind doesn't cooperate. Therefore, the Lord has made this Upanishad, which is the philosophical portion, the sublime, more subtle portion of the Vedas, that requires your intellect to think. That portion of the Veda is called as Vedanta. It is at the end. And it requires you to apply your intellect, because if you don't, please remember this thing. The human being is a being made up of 3 integral parts, and 3 parts must be developed. This physical body must be harnessed properly, developed properly. The emotional part, the second part, which is the heart, where you have pure feelings of love and compassion and all such things, that must be developed fully. It's a very, very important part of the human being. And the intellectual part, which is the most neglected, it is always left in ruins. And that intellectual part can become developed only when we study these philosophical texts like the Upanishads. And these Upanishads, Bhagavan has milked, Sarvo Upanishado Gavo, if all the Upanishads, which are to be found at the end of the Vedas, if all of them are cows, Bhagavan Shri Krishna is the milkman, he is milking the cows. And Arjuna is the calf, he is drinking, means all of us. We are drinking that milk. So all the Upanishads have been milked. All the essence, the rasa of all the Upanishads have been taken out and put into this Bhagavad Gita. This is what the Gita is, the verses say. We chanted those verses just now. Sarvo Upanishado Gavo Dogdha Gopala Nandanaha Partho Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta Dugdham Gita Amritam Hat. Arjuna is drinking the nectar of all the Upanishads. We are drinking the nectar of all of the Upanishads when we study this Bhagavad Gita. This is what it is. And it is to be found in the middle of that Mahabharata, placed there by Ved Vyasji, and it talks about this pure Vedanta, nectar of all the Upanishads. So, with that in mind, we study this 15th chapter. So now let me tell you what happened in all the other chapters, because you have to know where we are. Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 sections. It is a total of how many chapters? 18 chapters. Total of how many verses? 700 verses. Very easy to remember. 700 verses divided into 18 chapters. Some chapters have 20 verses. Some chapters have one chapter has 78 verses, chapter 18. Chapter 2 has 72 verses. Some big amount. See, why 20 and why 78? So there are differences in the chapters, you see. So 18 chapters dividing 700 verses. Now, the first 6 chapters, they deal with Karma Yoga. First 6 chapters deal with Karma Yoga. The second 6 chapters deal with Bhakti Yoga. And the last 6 chapters deal with Jnana Yoga. And that is exactly in the same order in which I was speaking to you just now. Karma Yoga is how to use this body in the service of God. How to use the body to further my path towards enlightenment. That is what Karma Yoga is about. Using the body, and harnessing the body to further my path to enlightenment. Bhakti Yoga is how to use the heart to do the same thing. And Jnana Yoga is how to use the intellect to do the same thing. But remember, the first 6 chapters is followed by the second 6 chapters, and that is followed by the third 6 chapters, you see? So it is a serial order which is there. In other words, I start my journey by practicing Karma Yoga, I graduate into Bhakti Yoga, and finally I go further into Jnana Yoga. They are not parallel paths. Please understand this thing. This has been presented to us so many times as parallel paths. They are not. You see, parallel paths should mean what? Karma yoga alone is sufficient. You don't have to have any bhakti or any gyan. That alone will take you. It will not. If you think doing karma alone will take you, then a donkey will reach fast also. A donkey doing karma or not? The donkey doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't understand what he's doing. He doesn't dedicate any of his action. And he's working all day very nicely for his master. So if that were the case, karma alone will take you there, then that donkey will get moksha very fast. It doesn't work like that. One has to engage all the faculty, because you're not a being where your body, mind and intellect are in watertight compartments. You're one integral being. Nah? So all the three parts of the personality must be harnessed simultaneously. And all of them must be chastened. And so, for a beginner, karma yoga is easy. Karma yoga is simple. One, I do my actions, whatever I'm doing right now, is I am a teacher or I'm a taxi driver, a pilot or a farmer, whatever it is. I do my farming or whatever I'm doing as a dedication to Bhagwan. Prabhu, you have given me these capabilities, abilities, you have given me these resources, and what all things, I'm doing them as my offering to you. That is called as karma yoga. That karma yoga, when it ripens and matures, becomes bhakti yoga. Bhagwan, I love you so much for giving me this opportunity. I have so much gratitude in my heart to you for giving me this opportunity and allowing me to evolve, progress, and come closer to you. And you have blessed me so profusely with so many things. One man was saying, I used to complain that I did not have shoes until one day I saw a man who did not have feet. So Bhagwan has blessed all of us so profusely. We should always count our blessings. So the karma yoga, while I am working for the Lord, slowly and slowly matures into bhakti yoga. Love for Bhagwan. Love for all things. When I am working for the Lord, I am working for the Lord through His society only. Because it is the Lord who is manifested in all things. So, that karma yoga turns into bhakti yoga. And now deeper understanding of what I am doing, where I am going, what is my goal, how I should do things, that deeper understanding must be part of the human's effort. If he doesn't make that, then what happens? His bhakti remains blind. It means we have blind faith, blind devotion. We don't know what we have devotion in. And there are some people who jump straight to gyan and have no bhakti. Their gyan is dry. You know, dry like what? Chili bibi. You know what a chili bibi? When you eat some chili bibi, quickly you want something to drink. You choke, that you'll cough. Imagine you eat chili bibi and nothing to drink. You choke and cough, that thing will come through your nose. In Trinidad language, they use sarke. So, gyan without bhakti is also dry. Therefore, both these things have to be bhakti and gyan. So, karma yoga will turn into bhakti yoga, and that must be accompanied by gyan. Gyan now means I harness the powers of the intellect to try to intuit the reality. In 6th chapter he says, buddhi grahyam. This intellect can intuit that thing. What? That absolute reality. Buddhi means intellect. Buddhi grahyam, atindriyam. That reality is beyond the senses, you can't see. But with the intellect you can intuit. If you see smoke in the hill there, you know there's fire or not. You see way over there you see smoke. So if you see smoke, there has to be fire. Where smoke comes without fire. But only that is an intellectual operation. Your dog does not know that. So with the intellect, I can intuit the presence of a reality. It has to be there. Now I only have to find it. You see? That faculty is left in ruins. It is left in disrepair. Sadly, in the species. The person who can The person who can harness that faculty becomes a Socrates, becomes a Plato, becomes a Shankaracharya, becomes a Swami Vivekananda, becomes a Swami Chinmayananda, becomes a Mahatma Gandhi. The person who harnesses the intellectual faculty. He who doesn't. So now if you see where the 15th chapter falls, where does it fall? In the group of last 6. Chapter 13 to 18 is the last group which deals with Gyan Yoga, which harnesses the intellect. And chapter 15 in this group is said to be the crest jewel of Gyan, of discrimination, knowledge, that sort of thing. So we have to apply this intellect to understand what is there. Now I'm going to try to make it simple as we go along. I hope you'll catch the essence of this 15th chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Lord Himself says. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Urdhvamulamadha shakham.
Urdhvamulamadha shakham.
Ashwatham prahuravyayam.
Ashwatham prahuravyayam.
Chandamsi yasya paranani.
Chandamsi yasya paranani.
Yastam veda sa vedavit.
Yastam veda sa vedavit.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. It means the Lord Himself is speaking. Huh? So when we listen to the words, we listen with that bhav. Bhagavan Himself is speaking. It is not any other author or something. The Lord Himself speaks. But He says, in this verse, He is giving what we call as the cosmology of Vedanta. What we call as the cosmology of Vedanta. Cosmology of Vedanta means the way the cosmos is structured, or the way the cosmos evolves and is structured. So, what it says, it uses an example to give you an idea. Please remember, all examples, an example could really never be the exact thing. The example is something that just points to the thing. Like for example, when we say that pepper hot like fire. The pepper is hot like fire. Now, you know that we are just using an example to illustrate something. We really do not mean that you could take pepper and cook food. If pepper was hot like fire, you put the pepper under the pot and it will cook the food. Eh? So you put the rice in the pot and you put the pepper under the pot and the pepper will cook the food. Because you just said it is hot like fire. But that is not the meaning. The example is just used to indicate something. When we say pepper is hot like, all examples are like that. But sometimes people get carried away and they take the example literally. We should be careful. So now here Bhagavan has given an example which kind of gives the cosmological structure of the universe. But he says, first let me tell you the example, then you will be able to, we'll see the cosmology just now. Urdhva Moolam, the roots are up. Already sounding confusing. The roots are Urdhva Moolam, Adha Shakham. All its branches are down. Roots are up and all branches down. Ashwatham Prahuhu Avyayam. This peepal tree is a peepal tree. Ashwatham means the peepal tree. The peepal tree of this world has its roots up and its branches down. Peepal tree of this world has its roots up, branches down. Chandamsi yasya paranani. And all its leaves are the Vedas. All its leaves are the Vedas. Yastam Veda Saveta. Yastam Veda Saveda Veta. He who knows this, he knows the Vedas. What? He who knows this knows the Vedas? It is as though Bhagavan is bent on confusing us, isn't it? First you tell me of a tree that has its roots up, branches down. Then you tell me that the leaves of this tree are the Vedas. Then you tell, if I know this, I know the Vedas. Prabhu, thank you for confusing me thoroughly. Then Bhagavan said, but look na, I tell something to the sampradaya, to the tradition. And if I tell everything, then the gurus will have no work. The gurus have to explain what it means. And the guru in a sampradaya, please pay attention to it. I want to tell you a little bit about this also. We are trying to, somebody said nicely, that when we came from India and we came to this country, many fragments of the culture and the tradition and the religion and all that were lost. Means we left them behind. Many fragments were lost. We brought only a few fragments. There are so many things which we do not practice. For example, I tell you, in India, for instance, Vishnu Sahasranama is so popular. Vishnu Sahasranama is so popular. Yasya smarana matrena janma samsara bandhanat vimuchyate namastasme Vishnave Vishprabha Vishnave. And here, actually, I was born and brought up in this country. I never heard anything like Vishnu Sahasranama. We lost. So when you go to India, you realize my child knows it by heart. So many fragments were lost. So we are trying to reconstruct this entire picture of Sanatana Dharma from the fragments which we brought. We have to reconstruct the entire picture. That's why we are trying so many different things, to reconstruct. But that's it is something very interesting to engage our time and efforts and all. It's very good. So Bhagavan maybe blessed us by that happening. And what? We lost some certain fragments. So now we have something to do. We build it back. So it's a good thing. So here now is another thing which we lost. A very important thing. And what is that? Sampradaya. Sampradaya. You belong to a sampradaya where there was an ancient guru, and that guru taught his disciples, and those disciples taught further disciples, and they kept coming down all the way. And you somewhere along, you belong to that. That we lost. That thing we have to reconstruct. You make sure you find yourself in some sampradaya. Very, very important thing. Because we lost that, we're having so many problems, and it has to come back. We have to bring it back. I'll give you a contrasting example. See this here. In the old days, how some ashram or some temple or something used to be built. Here is a guru and here is disciples. Right? Gurus at the top, disciples are there. So the disciples come to the Guruji and they say, oh great Guru, we feel that we should build a mandir here. So the Guruji says, well okay, build it. Then they used to go to the Guru and they say, oh Guruji, which side should we face this mandir? East, west, north or south? Guruji just snap his finger, east. Or you'll check something and say, east. Then which side Murti should face? They'll ask. He says, you face it this way, then they'll follow. Because he's Guru, they have regard and respect for him, they belong to that sampradaya, is it? So what he said, they will do. The Guru cannot say, face it north, and then you face it south. To what sampradaya you belong to? So that sort of thing got lost. When we came here now, see what happened. 10 people in the village got together, and they say, or 5 people, panchayat or whatever it is. 5 of them got together. Okay, let us build this mandir. Right? 5 or a dozen. They sit down there, they form a committee. And they have meeting. Committee means come, eat and tea. And they have a meeting and they take minutes, which record all the hours wasted. And you decide, okay, we'll do this, and they have some kind of consensus, and they have democracy. What is it? Democracy. Now, when the Guru used to tell the disciples, there is no democracy, there is authoritarianism. The Guru tells and they follow. Here you have democracy. So now, one disciple says, okay, we will, one proposal has come from such and such, we will install Ganesh Murti. One of the committee members. We will install a Ganesh Murti. So the 10 or 12 of them sit down and they say, okay, we'll install Ganesh Murti. Well, from there the trouble starts. Let's see, First of all, that Ganesh Murti should be in marble, white marble, or granite, black granite, or which color granite. First to decide which type of stone it should be. Then, when the Murti comes, that Murti should face east, west, north or south. 12 people deliberating on that. Which side to face the Murti. And each person has his own opinion because there is no Guru, no Sampradaya, no nothing, right? Each person has his own opinion on that. And I know a temple right now because of that same Jagara, because of that same, what is that? Yeah, we call that Kuchur. I know a temple right now that has 2 Ganesh Murti facing in 2 different directions. Because one group didn't like what the other group did. And that is why we have in all our temples everywhere fighting. Right there is the root of it. Because you introduce democracy inside the temple. One man, one vote. One man, one vote. First past the post system inside the temple. And everybody has his own opinion. And there is no guru guiding. And there is no sampradaya. There is no tradition. So this element we lost terribly. And so that is causing so much. And everywhere. Right now I know 3 temples in court. No guru. You start a new system which you don't know how to manage. And the age-tested system of the Guru, that is relinquished. And you start a new system. So these are elements we have to bring back. Fragments we have to bring back. Fragments which we lost. Let that thing be belonging to some sampradaya and be guided by that Guru. Alright. So now, this is what the Guru does in the sampradaya. He directs first. How sampradaya is supposed to proceed. Second, in that sampradaya, what exactly is the meaning of those particular verses and words of scripture? Now, if you belong to this sampradaya, the meaning and words will be different. If you belong to this sampradaya, there will be slight variances in the meaning. Because one sampradaya is dualistic, one is advaitic. What is advaitic in English? Monistic. One sampradaya speaks about the one reality in the universe, and the other sampradaya tells, no, it is dualistic. There is the Lord, and there is his devotee or his world, Lord and other things. So we say, okay, at the top, the 2 gurus, they agree. Yes. You hold dualism, we hold monism. There's no problem. So also the scriptures will be interpreted to suit the different sampradaya. So the sampradaya will explain exactly what the scripture says. And if you don't have a sampradaya, it is confusion upon confusion. Because what you do, but I tell you, even the animals are better than us when it comes to that. You know why? I tell you, one person will read one line from this sampradaya and go and read another line from that sampradaya and go and read another line from the other sampradaya, and when you finish, what you have inside your head is called khichdi. Bina tomato chokha. Khichdi. And confusion like anything. Every time I get a question from Bhagavad Gita, I realize this is what has transpired. Because people are reading different lines from different sampradayas. You see? That is like in a university, listen to this. In a university, you go to the natural sciences department and you listen to one lecture from the biology teacher. Right? Then you leave that department and you go to the engineering department and you listen to one lecture there. You leave that department, you go to the sociology department and you listen to one lecture. Then you go to English language department and you listen to one lecture. And you go into every faculty and listening to one lecture. What degree you will come out with? What you learn? Kichiri in your head or not? One lecture in law, one lecture in medicine. You getting one lecture everywhere. You in no program. So here, the Sampradaya, through the Sampradaya now, I am going to explain to you the Sampradaya I come from. Of Shankaracharya. Coming down, that Sampradaya. Urdhva Mula means the roots of it. Means to say, so how I'm going to try to put this as simple as possible. The roots or the foundations of this universe is in something higher. Urdhva means up. Symbolic of higher. Higher means not in the sky or something. We just talk like that. Higher means it is at a realm where only our intellect can take us. That, see, for example, when you say, I'm going for higher studies. Higher studies is not in the sky. One fellow walking down the road with a Lara. Somebody asked, where are you going with that Lara? He said, you don't know. I just left that school. Now I'm going to high school. He's going with a Lara to go to high school. Now, when you say you're going for higher studies, right? Please see the meaning of the word. Higher studies doesn't mean you go in the sky or somewhere, isn't it? On top some hill. Or high school doesn't mean it is on a hill. This type of higher way of talking. So the roots of this universe is beyond. Beyond what? Beyond what we see in front of our eyes. You understand this thing? The source of this universe, the roots of this universe, the foundation of this universe. Because the root is the foundation of the tree, isn't it? It is the source of the tree. It is that which holds the tree, which nourishes the tree. So what nourishes this world? What holds this world? What is the source of this world? Foundation of this world. That foundation is beyond. It is in something higher. Something which is beyond the ken of our senses. That is the meaning of the first phrase. So if you are going to look for the foundation of the world, now this is the cosmology. This world has sprung from something which is beyond. Something which is beyond our senses, beyond our mind. So you can't be looking. That is why you see the human being. People are so poor in their thinking that we think that Bhagwan is in the sky. But when Neil Armstrong went in the sky, he didn't see Lord. Imagine if he bunks up Bhagwan and moon. Both of them would have go loony. So, the Lord is not in the sky. All people go on thinking that, and we go on saying also Uparwala. Uparwala means the one in the sky. So not like that. Urdhva Mula means the root of this universe is in something higher beyond the senses and beyond the mind. I hope you got that one. Adha Shakham. Well, from the roots come out the trunk and the branches and leaves and all that, right? So from that higher reality, which is the root, from that higher reality came out this universe which we are seeing in front of us now. And this universe are the branches. And they are considered to be lower. Because you can see them. The senses can grasp them. But that thing which is beyond the ken of the senses, that thing is called as above, beyond. Urdhva. So it is just some example which is there now telling that dividing, as it were, the world into two now. There is the lower world which we see in front of us, and there is the higher world which we really do not see. And it is from the higher world that this lower world has sprung. So immediately the intellect will become interested, because the intellect is inquisitive by nature, you know. What is that higher world now? We want to know. The only problem with human beings is that as we grow older, the inquisitiveness diminishes. Have you seen a child? He wants to know everything in that house. To keep poking his finger. Any button he sees in any electronic equipment, he presses that button. Inside the electrical socket also, he wants to know what is in there. Nowadays they have child-proof electrical sockets, you know, plugs. Otherwise he'll push his finger in there. He'll never come to know, because he'll not have time. He'll not come to know what is in there. There'll be nobody left to know. So, that inquisitiveness there is there from the childhood. Very strong. It is one of the most distinguishing feature of a human being. That inquisitiveness, to know. And as he grows older, 40, 50 and all, 60. Who is living next door to you, uncle? Beta, I don't know. Nah. But you never try to find out? Nah, whatever. That dies away. But he who can keep that thing alive and vibrant, that inquisitiveness throughout his life, that person will know. Manusyanam sahasreshu kaschit. One rare person is like that. So, if we say that the world is now divided into this lower world which we are seeing, and a higher world which is the root, source, the origin, the foundation of this lower world, what is that higher world? I want to know that thing. So in the beginning itself, the Lord's presentation is such that he makes, or he presents it in such a way that he entices our inquisitiveness. I want to know about that higher world. But before he does that, I mean, he'll tell just now, before he does that, he says also that in this lower world, the leaves are the Vedas. Meaning to say, now you have to think, in this lower world, the leaves are the Vedas. Means this tree of this world, the leaves are the Vedas. Why? Because think about what the leaves do to the tree. The leaves are responsible for the life of that tree or not. It is the leaves that catch the sunlight, because without sunlight, nothing. It is the leaves that catch the sunlight, and the leaves are able to transform that sunlight into food for this tree. In the very same way, the Vedas catch the teachings of enlightenment. The Vedas catch, or the Vedas are the embodiment of knowledge which is used to sustain this world. It is by knowledge this world is sustained. See na? So just as the leaves sustain the tree, the Vedas sustain this world. Chandamsi yasya paranani. Chandamsi means Vedas. Just as the tree sustains the tree, and the leaves sustain the tree, so the Vedas sustain this world. Now see, this world is sustained by knowledge or not? Vedas represent knowledge. That you have to think now. Vedas represent knowledge, and this knowledge sustains the world. From the moment we are born, we have to go on acquiring knowledge. That is why the parents also go on teaching, isn't it? First we have to learn how to speak, how to walk, how many things we have to learn. Learn to read and write and all. And it is by that learning and acquiring more and more knowledge that the world is sustained. Suppose we didn't have knowledge. Actually, this is a double-edged sword also. With that same knowledge, we can destroy ourselves as well. That's why in the Vedas itself it has Dhanur Ved. How to? The art of warfare. In the same Vedas. They're there. But the same Vedas also has the philosophical portion. Through that through that Vedas, we learn how to live properly, and we learn how to sustain ourselves, and we learn how to perpetuate our existence and perpetuate the existence of the world. It is through knowledge we do that. So the Vedas sustain the world through knowledge. Not only superficially as we see in front of us, The Vedas has all the knowledge of the entire universe. And for Bhagwan to have manifested the universe, for the Lord to have manifested the universe, he also had to have knowledge. The universe is actually a manifestation of his knowledge only. Those type of points you have to go on thinking on the side. But let me continue with what I am telling here now. Those are just subsidiary things you have to think on your own, in your vichar. So now, the Vedas are the leaves of the tree. Then, the person who comes to know what we are talking about here today, that person is well on his way to knowing the Vedas. The person who comes to understand that this world is the lower part and the higher part is in the God himself, or the reality from which this lower world has sprung. And the person should develop inquisitiveness and now come to understand what exactly is the essence of all of these Vedas and all of the teachings. In the next verse, he continues this teaching. Now see number 2. He gives more hint in the same example. Adhaschordhvam prasritastasya shakhaha
Adhaschordhvam prasritastasya shakhaha
Guna pravriddha vishaya pravalaha
Guna pravriddha vishaya pravalaha
Adhascha mulanyanusantatani
Adhasya mulanyanusantatani
Karmanubandhini manushyalo
Karmanubandhini manushaloke
Karmanubandhini manushaloke
Karmanubandhini manushaloke.
Now if you think the first verse was confusing, don't worry. After this verse, it will become easy. For those who have that interest in study, after this verse, it will become easier. The example is a difficult one. Of course, Bhagwan has his reasons also for choosing everything. I don't think that the Lord just arbitrarily chooses anything. He has his reasons for choosing. What he perhaps means is, look, when you read these first 2 verses and you see that it is difficult, you say, look, I better leave this chapter for later on, When things become more clear, I'll study it. He wants you to study it later on, yes, like that. Adaha cha urdhvam prasitaha tasya shakhaha. Now, among all the branches here, just now he was telling all the branches are down. In this world, right? The world is down. And the root is up. The source of this world is up, beyond our mind. That part is fine. But now he says, among the branches here, some branches go up and some branches go down. Now that also is not so difficult to understand, because in this world in which we are living, there is a hierarchy or not. In the world in which we live, there is a hierarchy of everything or not. There is a hierarchy of knowledge, there is a hierarchy of so many things. So there is simpler knowledge and there is higher knowledge. There's very simple things in the world, like for example, the structure of some elements are very simple. Like what is the structure of carbon? Only one element, one thing is there, right? What do you call a diamond? It is only carbon, isn't it? Very simple structure. So what is the structure now of acetylsalicylic acid? No, that is a very complex thing, isn't it? Or some hydrochloric acid and all that kind of thing. And how it works, that is a more complex thing. How hydrochloric acid burns and why. And water is so simple. So in the world itself, there are simple things and there are complex things. In the world itself, there are things which are philosophical, deep, esoteric, and there are things which are plain to the eyes. So therefore, in this lower world itself, there's a hierarchy. Okay. And these scriptures now come at the higher end of the hierarchy. The teachings of the scriptures and spirituality and divinity and theology and all of these things, in this world, they come at the higher end of the hierarchy. So, among the branches, some of the branches go down and some of the branches go up. Guna pravriddha vishaya pravalaha. But whatever it is, whether it is the higher part of the hierarchy or the lower part, all of these branches, all of this lower world which we live in, they are fed by the gunas, the three gunas. The whole world here, which we see in front of us, is running by the three gunas. Now let me tell a little bit about these three gunas now. The three gunas are sattva, rajas and tamas. So what is sattva, rajas and tamas? It's very easy to understand. You see, in this world, if you just look right around you, you will see some things, they are fixed. Like for example, this microphone stand is there. Poor fellow is not moving. And thank God he's not moving also. Otherwise, you put the microphone stand, come back tomorrow. Chala gaya. Microphone stand ko kahan chala gaya? Where the microphone stand went? Pata nahi. शायद उस ग्राउंड पर क्रिकेट मैच हो रहा है, बेचारा चला गया क्रिकेट देखने के लिए. He got to see cricket? No. We are so glad that when you put certain things in the world, when you come back, they are there, you know. That is because of a quality present in the universe. That is called as inertia in English. In Sanskrit, it is called as tamas. And gladly it is there. We are glad that it is there. Otherwise, there would have been chaos. The tamas aspect of the nature keeps it there. At the same time, in this microphone stand or in anything in the world, there is so much of movement. If you take it and you look under a microscope, you will see the electrons inside are swirling at such speeds, lightning speeds. And everything in the universe is swirling with such movement everywhere. There is so much of activity. That activity of the universe is called as rajas. Rajas. And not just joke speed, you know. See how this earth is going around the sun. They have speed, and all those who study this thing, they'll know. So unimaginable speed. And yet we are sitting on the earth and we don't know that we are moving. So there is the feeling of the tamas, means we are not moving. But there is the reality of the rajas. We are in fact moving at such speeds. Then the movement is not any chaotic, random movement. There is no such thing. Every movement in this universe is governed by laws. And then who was it that said, I don't remember who it was, one great scientist said that if you can tell me the velocity and mass of every particle in the universe, he'll be able to predict everything in the future. Every single thing. Because nothing in the universe works outside laws. Everything works within laws of the universe. So there's an inherent, all-pervasive intelligence that governs the universe. A neatness and a precision that governs the universe. That is called as sattva. In the universe, these three things are there governing every single sattva, rajas and tamas. And so the universe proceeds on these three. And were they not there? Nothing. So guna praviddhaha. The gunas make everything run in this world. Vishaya pravalaha. And it is the gunas that are responsible for all the objects which we see in front of us. In every object, the three gunas are present there. And if one guna is missing, the object cannot exist. Vishaya means objects, all objects in the world. Adhascha mulani anusantatani. And some of the roots also come down. Some of the roots also come down. First he said all the roots are up, but now he says some of the roots come. Meaning what? That the divinity from which this universe has sprung, that divinity is also to be found in this world. In the world in which we live. The divinity is to be found in this world also. In other words, we can very well find God right here where we are. Karma anubandhini manushya loke. And in this world of men, in the world of human beings, we are tied to the world and tied to all things by karma. We are tied to this world by karma. Now this karma thing was discussed in previous chapters and all that sort of thing. Here in 15th chapter, little only it will come. But this is the example which the Lord is using of this tree. And in the next verse he says, now nobody really sees this in this way. Nobody really, what we are just talking about here, nobody looks at the world like that. What do we look at the world like? Well, the doubles place open in Deve. When this Swami will finish this thing, I want to go and try some baigani. I mean, we see the world in from such an ordinary, simple, unimaginative point of view. It means we really don't see anything higher or anything sublime, anything beyond, anything greater. People don't look. In fact, in simple language we call that hot head. That will hurt my head. Why to think about all those things, you know? Just tell me about simple things. What is that? Today what we eating for lunch? Dal and rice and bhaji. Where you getting the bhaji? We never have there, they're not home. How simple. Huh? They didn't like I talk about the neighbor, maybe or what. Or the neighbor were not home, they just came home. What a coincidence. So anyway, the human being is taken up with the simple things and really doesn't want to make his intellect peep into the beyond, peep into the higher. You know, he doesn't want to prod his intellect forward. He's settled with his BlackBerry, iPhone, them kind of thing. If you notice, look, see how the human intellect really is lazy. Eh? Bhagavan talks about this in Gita several places. Eh? It's called alasya. The intellect is so lazy. So everybody wants a cell phone to use. Nobody is interested in finding out how the cell phone works. Anybody interested? No. What, Swamiji, why are you telling me about how cell phone works and this and quad band and triple band and this band? And look, just give me the phone. He's not at all interested in how anything works. It working? Enough. He wants the result only. How the thing works? So now, nobody sees the world in the next verse says. Now see that number 3. Narupamasyeha tathopalabhyate.
Narupamasyeha tathopalabhyate.
Nanto na chadir na cha sampratishtha.
Nanto na chadir na cha sampratishtha.
Ashwattamenam suvirudhamulam.
Ashwattamenam suvirudhamulam.
Asangashastrena dridhena chitva.
Asangashastrena dridhena chitva.
Na rupam asya iha tatha upalabhyate. Nobody sees this world as we had just spoken about. Nobody sees this world as really the lower manifestation of a higher reality. That is the summary of the whole thing. Nobody sees the world as a lower manifestation of a higher reality. Nobody sees the world as a manifestation which is going on changing and which has really no no substance of its own without the higher reality. Nobody sees the world as something temporary and the higher reality as something permanent. Nobody makes the distinction, nobody takes the time to make the distinction between what we see in front of us and some higher reality. But even if you talk about the higher reality, not many people are interested in it also. Where it is said very nicely. Tulsi Raji says at one place that even when we talk about it, who cares about it? So, na rupam asyeha tatha asya iha tatha upalabhyate. Nobody really intuits this thing which the Lord is now introduced here. What? That there is a higher reality which I should pursue. We don't know. Na antaha, na cha adhi, na cha sampratishtha. We don't know the beginning of this world, the middle of this world, nor the end of this world. In both senses, means we don't know how the world began. We don't know if we are in the middle now, or if we are in the near the end. In that way, or in the other sense also, we don't know if this world goes on endlessly, that side, and we are in the middle, and it goes on endlessly, this side. In terms of space and time, both we don't know. That is the idea. And nobody cares also. But that is the most serious thing. Nobody cares how the world is existing, on what, by whom, and because I am very much comfortable with my dal and rice and bhaji. I'm very much, complacent about, and therefore some great things happen. Then only people start thinking, when some calamity, disaster, something, catastrophe happen, then only everybody starts. People get suddenly religious and spiritual and godly and all kind of. Have you seen that? That is why there are people who have interest in all of this. But 2000 is coming. The year 2000 is going to right around the corner. The world is going to end. So this fear tactic is used, and so many people start thinking about God, because the world coming to an end. Just now in December, the world will come to an end also. Coming up just now, right? The world will come to an end. So you better start thinking about God fast. Right? So I say, okay, let it end. When it doesn't end, we have our next Yajna. So, when there is some impending disaster, then people become religious and spiritual. Or when there's some disasters already happen. So why should we wait for some such thing to happen before becoming spiritual? So Bhagavan is telling, really nobody is interested about knowing beginning, end, and nobody knows. And nobody is interested. But this scripture is about teaching this thing. The scripture will tell about beginning, middle, and end of the world. All about the world. Because we don't see it. Ashvathamenam suviduramulam. This Ashwatha tree of this world, the world in which we are living, this tree of this world has to be asangashastrena dridhena chitva. Has to be cut asunder. You have to cut this world to pieces. Really? But I thought the world was so good. Why we have to cut off this world? What is the meaning? What is meant by this verse now? Bhagavan says with the sword of detachment, asanga shastrena. This world which has taken firm root, we have to cut it down. Why? That we'll see tomorrow.